We have too many black people that are either they don't care. That's the biggest thing. The ignorance of people who refuse to view the situation. And as a 12-year-old, I recognized what we were going through. When I was 10, I probably recognized what it really meant to be black in America. But at 12 is when I truly saw and was painting for what was going on towards our people. That's when I started to really look to better the people around me, my brothers and sisters around me. And as I fought to do that more and more, I recognized that we don't fully care. We laugh at the people who do. So again, I'll say to Oscar Grant, Trayvon Martin, Jordan Davis, Jonathan Farrell, Anya Jones, Eric Gardner, John Crawford, Mike Brown, Tamir Rice, Walter Scott, Freddie Gray, the Charleston Nine, Sandra Bland, Corey Jones, Alton Sterling, Philando Castile, Terrence Crusher, Keith Scott, Jordan Edwards, Stephon Clark, I'm still not done, Botham Jean, Atita Jefferson, Ahmaud Arbery, George Floyd, and Breonna Taylor. All those names that I wasn't finished. All those names. You say you're sorry. You say your respects to them. Because we allowed this to continue. We allowed that list to be that long. For people who died unarmed, didn't harm anyone. They died unnecessarily. One of these men said he couldn't breathe. Two of them, actually. Two of these men told police multiple times, I can't breathe. And they died on the street like dogs. Like dogs. A woman was shot 8 times in her own home. No weapon, unarmed, in her sleep. And the officer, the one officer, was charged for the shots that missed.
Yep.
He was charged for the shots that missed. But you expect me to go out here in this world that has told me multiple times, that has spit in my face and told me that they don't care about me. You expect me to go out here with a smile and parade around as if everything that is happening is not. I can't do it anymore.
I asked my sons tonight to speak their truth to power, uninterrupted. I asked my sons to express with dignity how they felt. I told them not to worry about a muzzle from their pop. I want to know how you feel, guys. I do. So if you're seeing this, I want to know how you feel. And I can get your voices out. I want to let the world know from your emotions, your raw emotions, how you feel. Now, the best way to do that is to do it in such a manner that people can hear you. I want your videos, I want your audios, but I want them so people can hear your pain without having to cipher out some of your more colorful language. And I know how you feel. Let me just be real. Damn it, there's some things I want to say, but I want to be heard too. So you saw my son's, my baby boy, you saw his raw emotions. And trust me, they can get a lot raw because this thing is real. And we're passing fathers, those who are standing in as fathers, uncles, we're standing in the gap, and we've got to let them know that they can express themselves. It hurts me that in this time and age, in a country this advanced, that we're talking about the police being one of the biggest enemies to our life, not cancer, not diabetes, not high blood pressure, not even education. The cops are becoming the police, and not even all the police. I want to be clear on this. Not all the police, not all of law enforcement. We got you. We got you. We understand that. And for anyone to paint a broad picture that because we like the actions of a or because we dislike the actions of a few cops, and to try to say that we are against all cops, that's just not right. And you know it. That's just not right. It's a weapon to keep what you got. And what you got, what you have had, and the privilege you have walked with for far too long is that people of color could take anything and we wouldn't do anything about it. Well, tonight I've asked my boys to speak out loud and tell me how they feel. Malcolm, you got your nephew there with you. You got, he's looking up to you, and you are the big uncle. You got your little brother who is becoming a man, and he seeks your advice. He talks to his big brother all the time. He talks to all of his siblings. And then he watches the news. He watches, and he has his own set of friends. One, what is your demographic saying? And two, what do you say to those coming behind you?
Well, as far as my demographic goes, it's such a mixed bag. Like, you got some people that take it real serious, and then they really do care about the violence that's going on, and then the lives that are lost. And then you got people that are just riding trends, and they're only doing it just because it's what you should say. And I mean, after you done been on this earth a little while, you can kind of tell who pandering to you and who not. And eventually they all expose themselves. But when I say to the generation behind us, is sorry, man, we couldn't get as much done as we would have liked to. Like, it's like growing up, skateboarding would have got me picked at personally, just because that's what I wanted to do. And I want people to be able to come behind me and do whatever it is they want to do, black, white, or whatever, And, quite frankly, just like the generation before us, we didn't give them the whole cake. We only gave them a couple of ingredients. We didn't get to bake everything.
Well, one of the things, and I'm gonna step in here, because one of the things you travel through the military bases with me, Hawaii, Fort Jackson. You've done all that. One of the things that I witnessed with you, your friends were multinational. A lot of your friends now, if anybody was to gain access to you, they would realize you got one of the most diverse group of people on your Facebook and your following. You go hunting with people who don't look like you. You go do this with other people who don't look like you. What is it like trying to maintain a level of friendship with all of this divisiveness? Say it for me.
Divisiveness.
Yeah, division, whatever. And that, what is it like trying to maintain those levels of friendship?
Well, for me, to be truly honest with you, I'm blessed. It has been very little effort, because the people that I have around me, they are, like you said, who they are. And that's why I have them around me. Not because they are me or they do the same things that I do. It's because they are who they are. And, there's a solid group of people I got around me. But, for instance, played semi-pro paintball. I remember when I was first starting out, you black guy on a paintball field was pretty rare. Let alone a black guy that's actually pretty good.
Well,
and I ended up getting
I trained you.
Yeah, you did. But ended up getting picked up by a team, and that team didn't tolerate any of that crap. Another team, make offhanded that nice Southern racism, that slick racism that we have down here, so nice, and like my team wouldn't go for that. Buddy Joker was having none of that. But Joker.
I remember Joker.
They got Joshua in the paintballing. They took all my Army skills, by the way, and they went out there and used it on paintball. And go ahead, Mac. I jumped in. I'm gonna tell a story about both of y'all later. You ready?
Oh yeah.
these guys kind of go at me by saying, "Oh, you got drill sergeant daddy. Well, you got motivational daddy, and you got pastor daddy." So, which daddy was which?
You know what? I ain't even finna mess around. We might
All
joke,
right,
but I
got this
know for
one.
a fact, yeah, they got the worst of it for sure.
All right.
I got
Drill
him with
sergeant.
like patience.
Slide forward.
I got him with patience and
You
a
didn't give
little
me.
bit of niceties. And
What's that?
you know what?
Y'all make me sick.
It's his birthday, so I ain't gonna take off his cap. But you know, like he didn't have a lot of like hair up top, so you know there wasn't anything crowding the information from getting up. So you know, like he had patience.
This is how you get treated on your birthday. If y'all didn't know,
This is love. Okay, this is
okay.
terror love straight up.
Only somebody who loves you to tell the truth.
Okay. I decided tonight I wanted to sit down with the young men in my life, my two young men who are young and out front leaders. My oldest son, Malcolm, and they both have unique entrance into the world. You know, Mac was, 3 days born, and I brought him home on the third day, but we made a pit stop at the football field. I was coaching a football team in Hawaii. I placed him under the bleachers. Didn't trust nobody in the stands with him. Mom was still in the hospital, and I put him underneath the bench at the game, and put about 2 or 3 big Samoans right in front of him and said nothing gets here.
I was going to say
Samoan football players, and nothing gets to him. Do you understand me? And for an entire game, Malcolm never uttered a crying word. 3 days out of the hospital. Yes, we won that game. And Mac has been doing extreme sports. And son, I just want to tell you as a father, it's my birthday, but the proudest moment is I can look at my son who has his own business, who is a stand-up person in the community. And you've always been Malcolm. You've never judged people on anything but how they presented themselves to you. And you've sometimes come up on the short end of the stick, but you didn't even let that change you. It is a privilege
part of the gamble. That's what you kind of lose when you're trying to figure out who you're dealing with. You got to put something out there. But when they show you who they are and what they are, believe what you see.
Believe what you see. And then, you guys have known Joshua. Joshua has been the producer of all 3 of my platform shows. And I mean, we are blessed. Joshua is also now venturing out in his own world, and I could not be prouder. This is about the time that almost all of them have started venturing out. Tonight was, yes, a celebration of my birth, and more importantly, it was about sharing information about how these young people feel about what's going on in the country. Let's get back on topic. Let's talk about, we already know about voting. I need to know something, Mac. Mm-hmm. Are the people that are in your age range, are they going to vote?
Yeah. There's a lot of people, they tired of all the BS, to be quite frank. Everybody's tired of it. Like, number one, you got a guy in the White House who never answers a question. If you could answer me something, you can give me details, give me something I can go and look at. But when you start putting it off and you never have any specifics on whatever it is they're asking for, that's a problem.
You got to have a plan that I can see. Write the vision, make it plain. Don't just complain about how rough it is, how tough it is, how hard people are. As a leader, that comes with being a leader. But what I hear you saying is, even if you wanted to vote for him, you wouldn't be able to vote for him because you're not hearing anything of substance?
Yeah, nothing of substance. And I mean, I ain't saying I'd vote for the guy, but I'm open to listening. You got to be open to listening, and I ain't hearing that.
Well, that's important. Joshua, you're going to be voting for the first time. Woo! And you grew up only knowing, up until this most recent election, only knowing of a Black president.
Wow,
You
I
learned about
never
the
even thought
others,
about
but the one you saw was a black president. One, how do you feel about voting? Let's start there. How do you feel about casting your
Well,
vote this year?
First off, I wanted to ask how much time do we have left on the show?
Very little.
As
No,
much as
no, no,
no.
no.
Dang.
Chop
I
it
wanted to go
down.
back to the conversation. Well, in short,
Which other conversation?
the one we had just prior, I wanted to really expand on that because I feel like there are some things that I feel like as black people we have kind of cut off that conversation and allowed too much ease, and that's
Well,
part of the reason why
let's
we're
do part
facing our
two.
problem. Okay.
His birthday is coming up. Let's do part two.
I want that one to be.
You down with that, Matt?
Please.
Just let me know when. You know, I'm on a tight schedule.
Yeah, I know you in. Look, here we go. I know you in high demand there, young man. Okay, all right. So let's go to
I
this
could be a
one.
little high.
Yeah, look, you in the prime of your life before it just goes downhill.
That's all right. I like roller coasters. Let's go. I'm ready for the down.
What goes? Here's what I say: what goes down does come up.
This is true. In a roller coaster.
What you're going to be casting the first vote, which will honestly, Joshua, be one of the most historic votes in this country's history.
And so important.
More than important. We've given
what?
important a short name. Jump in here, man, before we take all your time.
What I think it is I was talking to Dr. Angela Ferguson the other day, and we were talking about why 2016 went the way it went, despite who won the popular vote or electoral college. I feel like my generation and the generation just before me, Drew's generation, their formative years, right? What consisted of having nothing but a black president, a man who was, even though he wasn't really allowed to by the systems that he was surrounded by, wanted to do better for the world and really was looking for the betterment of everybody. My generation grew up knowing nothing but that. So for a lot of us, we didn't really have to either learn or really look into politics due to the fact that we saw they voted him in twice. So clearly people care. So I think that's how 2016 went, where everybody was like, this guy's not going to win. That's why there were all those jokes until the very next day, and then he won. So I can assure you, my generation is going to vote because it baffled me the other day. I realized it's been 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been a long 4 years. This started my freshman year of high school. That's kind of crazy because that's a while away.
And you are now getting ready to enter
college. So for 4 years, I watched excused white supremacy, lies from the person who should be lying to none of us for the most part. I've now seen a pandemic in my lifetime at an early age. So this election is, I don't even know if there's a word above important, paramount. This election is. So of course I will be voting, and I see voting as something very serious. But I think we all have to remember that it doesn't stop with the presidency. You have to vote for your governors if you have a sheriff in your town, for your district attorneys. I believe that has a vote. Any and every vote that deals with a public official in your area, your county, your town, your city, your state, vote on it. Because it's important. It's your civic duty. It's what affects you. You can't complain about a system and not use your opportunities to change it.
And that includes school boards. We complain a lot about schools, but when it's called down balloting, when that is up, you got to be ready. We can't make this change at the top and then miss what we need to support it. A lot of what's being allowed to happen to us as people of color is being allowed to happen because small businesses are supporting, minor businesses are supporting, and there's too much big business like box stores where you go get your home supplies from are supporting the current president. And again, I don't care who you vote for. Yes, vote, but I do care about who wins, how they treat us. If a independent win, they shouldn't be just the president of the independents. If a Democrat wins, they shouldn't be just the president of independents. And likewise for Democrats. When a person wins, male or female, all America should win. We should not separate at our party's difference. We were not built for that. And if we aren't careful, we're going to push so far past the mark that we may not be able to recover. I've had the pleasure today to sit with my sons and hear how they feel. I've had the pleasure today to sit with my grandson and let him know that we do talk as a family, that we do communicate. And I hope more families start doing this of all people. Now, Joshua's doing his job as a producer and saying, Dad, we got to start the countdown. No, we're not counting down?
15.
I got 15?
You got 15.
Yeah, I'm tired.
We've been sick, tired of being sick and
You
tired.
don't party too hard.
No, it's your birthday.
Well, I got some questions that came in.
Birthday.
I got some questions that came in.
Well, I just want to say one thing real quick. Can I have my arm back?
Why your arm over here?
Because I love you.
I love you too. Do not encourage him, okay? I don't need this.
I just wanted to speak to the point that you just made. I feel like African Americans, we definitely have to look into education reform. Please, 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 more of you do your research on that, because I can tell you, as someone who is a student, not very long ago, a lot of what happens to us because we don't know what we need to be knowing. We don't know enough about our ancestry to really hold enough value in ourselves. Because if you ask most kids about slavery, they'll tell you the first thing you'll hear that is very incorrect is slaves were brought from Africa. That is one of the biggest lies we've been told, and that shows you that language is so powerful. Slaves were not brought from Africa. Kings, queens, families, mothers, fathers, doctors, bankers, scientists, inventors, astrologers, astronomers, philosophers, great men and women were brought from our motherland, stripped of their identity, their pride, their tribesmanship, their culture, stripped of that,
their language,
given false names, numbers, treated in inhumane ways for 400 years or so.
And yet, I need you to understand something here. And yet, we rise.
We endure.
And yet, no, we rise. We endured. We are the gifts, the pride of our ancestors. And my son nailed it right. No, slaves did not come out of Africa. Kings and queens, leaders, strong men and women with great moral character. They tried to portray us as savages. Well, we didn't destroy an Indian nation.
Using...
well, I said I wasn't going to shut you down.
Using disease by refusing to use proper health. We didn't destroy and genocide through biological warfare. That's all I got to say.
We didn't put anybody in bondage in mass.
Nope.
We didn't do this. And yet we have been treated for far too long unfairly. Now, there are going to be some that see this and they're not going to...
not to be upset about it.
Say that again, son.
And told not to be upset about it.
And told not to be upset about it.
We were told recently, actually, that we weren't even supposed to be freed. And we're told not to be. It came out recently. Well, not recently, but within the past 3 years, that Lincoln didn't want to free the slaves. He didn't look into it. He didn't see it as necessary, but did it as a strategic advantage only so that there would be a fair fight with the South. And the original, I don't know how many of y'all knew this, but I'm going to put y'all on to a little bit of history right now because y'all done got me started. Lincoln had a deal that we were to go back to our slave masters. Yeah. under the guise and promise of you're fighting for your freedom, you're fighting for the country that will love you and embrace you. We were promised to go back to our slave masters. Now,
the views expressed on this show are
those of the people speaking. If it came out of my mouth, if it's his,
and it does not represent
One Due North
or its platform.
Exactly.
But it does pay to read, because one of the things is, if you don't know where you come from, then there's a hard time figuring out where you can go. And for far too long, we've been told that we were nothing but servants. Let me explain something to you. We are good servants, but we are not only servants. We're good servants. The Bible says be a servant, but we aren't. Yes, to him. But
one person.
But we are to, I love serving humanity. I see it as a great cook, but don't try to use me or misuse me. I have the rare pleasure of talking to my boys, to my young men. I want to tell you again, tonight it's my birthday, and one of the things I want to do is introduce them to what their father does, and that's this program and 2 others. And so I asked them to come on and sit with me, and if you had if you have the opportunity, grab your young men and young women and sit down with them and remind them of who they are. You see this young man sitting next to me. He is the heir apparent to One Due North. It is worked out and done. He's also one of the producers on this show, and he's learning it from the ground up. That other young man on the screen, that's my firstborn. Watching him do things, run his business now. He's an entrepreneur. He's an artist in the tattoo world or ink world. He is also excellent at drawing and sketching. And so I could not be proud of you guys. You are great young men. My grandson, who's off doing something, I want to thank you guys for joining us.
Mac, you ain't tell Pop about his gift.
What?
The free tattoo we're gonna put right here.
Oh yeah, we're gonna blast his chest. I forgot about that.
Right here.
Big American eagle.
Right here.
I don't like you touching on me like that.
Hey, I wanted to give him one of the Mike Tyson joints. Yeah?
Right, like I was like, it would look so good
if he would tie like this, and then he would get the thing.
I'm friends with Mike. I hope he knocks you out.
The power. It's so much power and speed and elegance. And I come
Mike,
at you and I look at you as the man in the ring. And
Mike don't like this.
And when your eyes don't meet mine, I know you're lost.
Mike, this is because we stayed up way too late pre-celebrating, and now we are running on fumes. Mike, whatever he said, he didn't mean it. I won't.
And the scared thing is,
see, y'all.
My dad probably does know Mike Tyson.
Y'all. He's not. He might
been
not
in Cancun and ran into people that knew my dad.
Look, when Joshua had the opportunity in D.C. to stand with the former Attorney General Eric Holder, you should have seen him looking over at me like, "Dad, really? The Attorney General of the United States, the first Black? I'm standing here with you next to the." I was like, "Who is it you don't know?" Well, we've got to think. I want to remind you too of a lesson Granddaddy taught me. It's good to know some people, but it's better to have some people know you. And the best way to do that is how you carry yourself. Some people call it name dropping or whatever you want. It's none of that. It's lining yourself up with the right things. And when we decided to start our business, One Due North, we framed it under the same work that Harriet Tubman did. If all we could do is go back and get one and bring them forward, and we would keep going back until we couldn't go back no farther. Tonight I'm coming back and I'm getting fathers and sons. I'm getting uncles and nephews. I want cousins to get together and create you a Zoom meeting and share it. You don't have to script it, just share it. Let people know how you feel about what's going on in the world. Show them that strong Black family love, that strong mixed family love, that strong American love, that strong world love. Love conquers hate. Yes, we get mad. Yes, we get frustrated. One of the best things you can do is, one, speak out loud with control rage, because everything ain't always nice. We tried nice. You haven't been listening to us. I want to speak to the young men and women who are out there now on the front line. Thank you for speaking out loud. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for raising your voice. Thank you for calling out their names. Thank you for saying their names. Say their names. Thank you for the mothers who have stood in the gap, those who have lost family members due to COVID. Thank you for not giving up, giving in, and giving out during the worst possible time. Continue to tell your family's story. You've been listening to Speak Out Loud, a One Due North show. Guys, we're going to give you 30 seconds, okay? Matt, we're going to start with you.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, we're going to start with you, Matt. 30 seconds. What you going to say to the people?
Encourage the younger generation. Protect them. Help them in any way you can. And that's what I got to say.
First, real quick, I wanted to say the question I asked you about who you don't know sounded a lot like when I looked at Mac and I was just like, why are you so big? Okay, because that was a heck of a day.
This is what I have to put up with, y'all.
But I just want to say, for those of y'all who are fighting, continue to fight the good fight. Please stay safe, because as we've already been shown, we're living in a world that is very hostile towards us. So please continue to fight the good fight. For those of you who actually know what we're facing and understand the system we're fighting against, do not be discouraged when those you try to teach and put onto that situation don't listen to you. Be them of your own people or others. Don't be discouraged. Just continue to speak. At some point, they will get it, or they will weed themselves out, and you'll understand that those are who you're fighting against. So I need you to just continue to spread your messages. Please don't give up hope. Don't give in, don't give out, and don't give up. Continue to spread messages of hope that we will one day rise up from underneath the oppression that we have been facing since the dawn of us being here. Continue to have hope. Keep your heads up, my kings and queens. Do not let your crown fall under any circumstance.
Well, my son said, reaching for one day, I'm saying today is that day. Declare, speak it, put the action behind it, and stick together. We are family. We are cut from the same cloth. Fathers, let's get in the game. Uncles, let's get in the game. Cousins, let's get in the game. Tonight, I had the pleasure of sitting with my boys, but I know there are fathers and mothers who don't get that. We are standing with you. If you've lost a loved one due to COVID, or if you've lost someone due to a violent act, I want you to reach out to me. Send an email to coach@oneduenorth.com. If you've lost someone due to COVID or a violent act in 2020, I want you to send an email to coach@oneduenorth.com. Join us next week. We're gonna have a blast, and I got something special coming up. I got the brothers from Alexandria, Virginia, the Qs. That's right, the frat brothers are coming on to One Due North to talk about being a black male in this country and what they are doing in terms of voting and encouraging. We might even sneak that in on you tomorrow night or Saturday. Be on the lookout for it, because soon as we line it up, we're getting it out. We can't wait. Remember, it's important to vote. Mac,
support black businesses.
Support black businesses.
Support black businesses.
Black businesses. Black businesses. Support your people.
Buy from black businesses. Black businesses, buy into your communities. Buy into your own communities. Don't be so focused on getting out the hood. Buy the hood. Make the hood better.
You hear that? He's on a roll. We're going to come back and do part 2 of this. I want to thank you guys for joining us. You've been listening to Speak Out Loud.
We love y'all.
Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday.
They doing the long one. I ain't know that.
You ain't know that one. Love you, son. Love you, son.
Love you too, Pop. Love you, little bro.
Give my grandson a hug and tell Lonnie I love her. Drew, we can't wait to get you ladies into this conversation.
Love you, sis.
You've been listening to Speak Out Loud. Malcolm Rashad.
Hey, Mac.
Hey,
Harry Utter.